Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. We'll start when the student join.
Yes, ma'am. We will wait for 2 minutes, ma'am. We are informing.
So can we start?
Yes, ma'am. You can start now.
Okay, just give me please. So good afternoon, students. Today being the last session for your batch, so I thought I have spoken enough about AI and all. So let me talk about something which you people immediately will be looking for. That is about the workplace and how the workplace is changing, how the future of work will look like, how you can prepare yourself for that kind of a workplace. Because every time we know that there is a new technology which comes, and that technology, grow very fast. And by the time we learn it, we master it, it becomes an outdated technology. So what is the kind of technology which is coming up in the workplace, and how it is changing the business, how it is changing the way the people used to work. And we have already seen the sign of that. But in future, there are a lot of things which are going to come. And when we know that this is what the future has stored for us, especially in our workplace, it becomes a guideline for us to, to go ahead and acquire that kind of skills and acquire that kind of knowledge to prepare them yourself for that. Okay, so that is what I thought I'm going to focus today on. And so I'm going to start my slide. Give me a few seconds. Okay. So let's start, students. So, as I was telling you, that we are talking about the future of work and how it's going to impact us, and how the kind of changes will happen soon, immediately. I'm not talking about 10 years ahead, or I'm not talking about it will be very soon. That means I'm talking within the 5 years. So, the next 5 years is where we are looking at, and where we should be aiming to develop our skill and make ourselves available with that kind of expertise for the kind of job we are we are looking for. So this is the session today all about that. So when I say students future of work, I don't wish to present a very distant scenario, as I said, not for 10 years and all. We live in the world where trend and norms are changing at the bat of an eye. So the future of change is already here. We have already seen that, especially after pandemic, and is changing how people think about their jobs. So managing this transition is the biggest challenge that business leaders are facing at the moment. So all technological advancement in the past decade, what you have seen, how the business world was shaped with this kind of new technology, and totally changed how automation has made the manual job, absolute. So all those kinds of things are happening on a day-to-day basis, which is nothing new. There is something new which is coming up nowadays, which is about the gig economy. And gig economy is about the people not going for a full-time 9 to 5 jobs or 9 to 6 job or anything like that. They don't want to tie themselves with one company and follow the rules and regulation. They want to be free. They want to own their own time, and they want to own the work they want to do. They want to choose the work. And that's how the gig economy is becoming, are here to stay, and it is going to flourish. And in the nutshell, the gig economy is a free market where companies look for independent workers or a freelancer instead of hiring a full time, because it's a win-win situation for both. For the worker also, they don't have to spend the entire day and get a kind of a salary which they will crib afterwards. And in also for the employer, it is a win-win situation because they don't have to give the kind of benefits which they give to the permanent kind of people. So this is one thing which is very becoming very thing. So gig referred to the model of work where the workers are employed and paid per project, per work. So one of the biggest question in the world of the work has whether or not AI is going to will prove to be the threat to human labor. Everybody talks about that. Maybe when you also hear about it, you also think about it. So the rise of internet technology has been worrying people. If the advancing technology will destroy the job, as everybody is saying, for quite some time, the human being, that's a question mark which everybody has, but nobody has the correct answer. Everybody says no, the new kind of job is going to evolve. So let us look into certain research and certain facts that is it going to go, and then we get disappointed that why do we learn that the technology. Like for example, you people are developer, you have developed the learn how to develop codes, but now chat gpt and generative AI tools are available which can do everything. So do we require a developer? Because for developer you may go wrong, but the machines or the AI will not, because it has that kind of vast knowledge base which a particular individuals can't have. So are we looking for those kind of regular jobs? Are we looking for a new job? What is it for us? Is there a kind of an answer? So what I did, I actually did a lot of research and study a lot of papers, and I'll show you also certain papers by Deloitte, by Accenture, all these big companies, and they try to. So the one of the summarization of all what I saw was that how technology is going to be the part and parcel of the life, which is already it has become. How the tsunami of data is going to become the everything for us today. Even if in order to order a milk, tomorrow if you have to order, your kids may, or maybe you after some time may look into data and then say that whether I should order or not, and it will happen within a few click of seconds. You don't have to do a thinking. Like your mother, if she has to, she will have a great job in deciding that what has to be cooked in the evening dinner, because not everybody will have the same choice. One will like one vegetable, other will not like that vegetable. So that is a big decision for her to take, not less than a company decision. And ultimately she asked everybody, nobody's gave answer. So it is again not become so simple. I'm just giving a very silly kind of example, but then it makes sense, because the silly thing is going to become the reality tomorrow. So change, that's how the nature of the job is also going to change. The way that we are working, maybe we may have the same kind of a roles to play in the organization, but it may change because of the technology reshaping the environment and reshaping the job world. Okay, diversity is also there. There's a lot of things which is going to happen. Okay, if you see the statistic, it is not just said like that. Everything should have a fact. Every should be backed up by data. So you have in UK already 35% of the jobs are vulnerable. Every 35% of jobs are totally automated or taken by robots. In US, it is around 47%. And it is highest in China, because the automation is highest. China's number one in hardware. So 77% of the regular jobs or any kind of a job is now taken over by machine because of automation. So there's a question which always come in the mind of the people, the social issues related to unemployment, and also the ethics. So we will not go ahead and explore on that, but let us look at what it should be, why the future of the work matter. So the new era of the work has arrived and it feels different, right? So the pandemic is one of the factor which has accelerated the arrival of the future of work, and which has accelerated means it. I'm not saying that pandemic was fully 100% responsible for it. There was the sign of it, but it was progressing very slowly. Now, what has happened is because of the pandemic, all these process of how the future of the work and what technology is implemented has become the reality now. It has accelerated that. And the future of the pandemic has accelerated the arrival of the future of work as we integrate more technology into business operation. And that has changed the nature of the business, the speed of the business, the process of the work. And what we are doing now, we are doing in managing it, how we are, who we are doing it with, And when and where, that's the question mark. So our working life has changed dramatically. The good news is that this is new, highly digitized business environment, which is balanced by human-centric orientation because of a lot of issues which are happening nowadays. Okay, and the also talking about the talent, social issue, ethical issues. All these means focusing on new and specific skills. Everything is directing that we should have new and specific skills. Then only we can survive in the world of profession. So we transform, we have to transit, we have to keep on learning. That's why in one of the seminar, I heard something which Nandan Nilekani was saying, and I really imbibed that. He said that our time was little easy because we have to learn and stop learning and start earning. But today the time has become so difficult that all of us have to become doctors. You know what doctor is? That they have to study throughout their life. They have to study because there are new diseases, new kind of advancement happening in medical industry. So they have to keep themselves updated. So that is how our skills will become obsolete after certain times. We need to update on our skills and succeed in new era of work. Okay. So there are three things I focused on during my research and when I was preparing this. And I deliberate on three essential skills. And let's understand these three essential skills. Right. The as I said, that pandemic has accelerated the kind of restrictions what we have on the future of work has arrived very quickly than as estimated. It is also driven by our action after pandemic of trying to stay safe, trying to remain healthy. So we have adapted already into that future of work, and we have started that era is already begin. So we have implemented new technology platform, application, automated, and updated our workflow. So in many cases, we transform the part of our business to keep going and make progress. And sometimes, certain times, what happens, we make a shock transitions. Okay. Okay. And so 2020 and 2021, when we were under the COVID and the COVID accelerated the technology involvement or advancement during those years. Before pandemic, what was the situation? We strained and we could actually resist against the change. Change is something which people don't accept so fast. So at that time, the Internet of Things, virtual reality, augmented reality, even the metaverse has come. But there was still the time to adapt to this technology. The time taken to adapt this technology fully was very, very slow. We resisted, we had an option to resist the updation or advancement in operation. So there was a flexibility, right? And now we have had to make many upgrades. There is no choice after pandemic. And we need to be building, it is requirement that if you have to survive in business, you need to build a digital business skills to deal with the increased pace, to deal with the uncertainty in the dynamic marketplace or business marketplace, and also realize the new reality. So volatility, the supply chain disruption is still going on. After Corona, it has not stopped. Corona has disrupted the entire supply chain, but it's still going on. The physical form of supply chain is totally disrupted. So the corona has also taught us about something called unpredictable future and unpredictable nature of the work. So that is how the companies and businesses are now thinking. Businesses problems are becoming more complicated. They require a sophisticated solution, and also which involve often multidisciplinary team working in a project together, not in working in silos. What used to happen initially that every department will work in isolation, in silos. Nobody will know what HR is doing, what marketing. But today the requirement is such that you need multidisciplinary skill to do at least one project. So everybody from HR to marketing to IT people to every kind of field is integrated into one team now. So being responsive and handling these dynamic and multifaceted situation means much greater reliance on human input and innovation at the same time. So this require our building human-centric skill that will help talent adjust to the new condition, utilize the platform and tool with open mind. So employee must be able to communicate and collaborate well to develop and execute relevant solution. So executive and managers at every level are now tasked with building new leadership skills. It is not only on the lower level or middle level people are struggling. At the higher level also, the executive, the top leaders, the CEO, the CFO, the CXO levels, they are also tasked in building a new leadership skills, because they have to deal with a tech savvy workspace. They have to deal with automation. So first, to foster a strong corporate culture and a sense of belonging within the community, where trust-based relationship can flourish and help connecting worker across the silos in multiple locations, which I said, which is required. The leaders need to recognize, manage, and support people as individuals and adjust for their preference as far as possible. So they also need to help employee develop new skills. You can't just say that if you don't know data analytics, you're out. Learn, otherwise perish, But it is not the case. They have to give time and they have to hire those kinds of, help or guidance for their employee to develop the kind of skill the company need, not for the present work, but also for the future. So they have to prepare their workforce. They just can't replace their workforce with a new workforce with the new skills. So they have to now develop those skills and help the people realize that how their career are going to be non-linear now. Non-linear means students that when you want to grow, for example, especially for you people, when you are in developer line, you join a company, let's say Accenture or IBM, TCS, any company, you will be joining as a developer, junior developer, then you become senior developer, then you become something, and later after maybe 6-7 years, you'll become a team leader or project leader. And then you will think about doing MBA, or maybe some of you may think about doing MBA and then joining the company. And you will say, okay, fine, with MBA, I don't want to do this coding job or technical job forever. I want to shift to the management line. I want to manage people. I want to delegate work, task. I want to be leader. Everybody inspired to become a leader. Everybody want certain kind of authority and leadership position at certain moment of our life, especially in workplace. So how do you go ahead and make sure that you develop those managerial skills because you have a degree? So in now what was happening is that you have two lines of growth in the company. One as a technical line in the IT guys, and you grow in that line. And the second one is a management line. Now that line has merged and become a non-linear. So that line has merged now. So now technical people can also manage team, but they need to develop those leadership skills. They need to, and the manager people also are required to learn the technical skills. Like for example, Deloitte, they take people at a middle level or a first level manager as consultant. So what happens, or maybe you can take the name of the company like IBM, which was in the business of hardware. Now today, if you see, IBM is in the business of software development, and the company basically surviving on client giving them projects. And most of the time, you might have heard that the people are removed because company doesn't have much of the jobs. Okay. So that is how the companies are basically growing. So there is a huge transformation which is happening in the workplace. And it is not only the technology which is contributing to this, but also the kind of culture and the new mindset is developed. So there is no way the people are thinking about remaining in one company, like your father, my age people always think that we will die in one particular company. We will throughout our life serve one particular company and show our loyalty. So this loyalty and all is still there, but it is not. It is for first, the loyalty should be for yourself. You should prove and understand that what is needed. That's why I always tell my students that first, after undergraduation, join a company, work there, find out your interest, and then do post graduation. and find out. Maybe it may happen that you may not like the work for which you have studied and you have developed your expertise and skill, but you end up doing that for throughout your life and you don't grow because you don't like it. You're just doing for the living. So that is one thing which we have to keep in mind. Okay. So let us see one video on this. Okay, this is not working as expected. Okay. So we'll talk about three major technology. The first technology, which is going to revolutionize the workplace, is metaverse. So metaverse is the next generation of internet. When we talk about metaverse, we say metaverse is the evolution of internet. Okay. And this evolution of internet means that it is what is metaverse? It is a blend of technology, mix of technology like virtual reality, augmented reality, online games, social media, cryptocurrency. All these interconnect or integrated technology create a interconnected world visual experience. And this is widely now used by companies. Even the Facebook you already know has changed. So this metaverse world, let us understand how it has come. In 1992, there was a novel which was written by Stephenson and Neil Stephenson, and the name of the novel, it was a very famous and best-selling novel, and the name was Snow Crash. And he was a person who coined this word called metaverse. And he was a person who the first time everybody started hearing about it, but nobody actually knew that is it going to come in future like that. So think about 1992 when internet was also not so popular. In India, it has not come only. At that time, he wrote this book and he wrote the word called metaverse. Metaverse, he wrote in a sense that you can transfer yourself into a world of imagination and you can experience that. He wrote in that particular sense. And this novel portrayed metaverse as successor also, he told, because at that time in the US, internet was already evolved. So he said that maybe in the future, the metaverse can make the people transfers through in the world of imagination, and they can give them some kind of experience which the virtual reality is now giving it, and it has become truth now. So the author version of how virtual reality based internet will evolve in the future is what we are seeing now. So it's not I'm saying that it's going to come, it has already come. The metaverse is become the future of the work, one of the technology. And the future of the work will continue to unfold to an accelerated pace. And within 10 years, it will be one of the most transformational decade of our life in terms where every company will adopt metaverse. Already many companies have done. So metaverse is a new evolving environment for organization and people. So as we also understand about something called Web3 technology. Okay. So Web3 technology, has transformed the internet, and this Web3 technology has fueled the metaverse. And the future of the work is transformed because of metaverse. This is one of the research which said that the World Economic Forum, which does huge research, and they predicted that 58% of the company will embrace virtual reality and other technology that support the transition of work into metaverse in the next 2 years. So it's not a big time I'm talking, not even 5 years. The question is, where is your organization in that trajectory of this transition or in connecting future of work strategy? So it is very essential to understand that moving work into metaverse, it is not just about technology and digital transformation. Moving work into metaverse required a remote and hybrid future that lays the foundation of the transition. So the keen focus on employee experience, facilitating human connection in immersive virtual space, which is collaborative, which is creative, which is innovative, and it has growth. So moving work into the metaverse require that HR leaders are strategically, purposely designing the transformation. And transformation happens with people who are the frontier of the work. So by accurately assessing the relationship between the metaverse and the future of work and developing the right strategy, The human resource leader will be prepared to successfully lead the organization both to the unfolding of the future of work and the metaverse. So metaverse is expected to generate around 800, you know, 800, what you called in one of the research, it was said that, I think I'm right about that, is 800 billion by 2025 in next year, by and 2.5 trillion by 2030, which is another 5 years. So according to Gartner report in 2026, by 2026, 25% of individual will spend at least 1 hour every day in the metaverse of work, or maybe in retailing, buying something from there, or maybe in education, which will become an experiential work. The way now you people are not interested in listening to any lecture online, or maybe offline also most of the time. But that's a time which this all will lead to a work where you will experience something instead of listening. And you know, we leave everything to your imagination. So it is not about imagination. You travel in the world of imagination and experience, and you learn through experience. That is how the education is also going to change. Social networking side, entertainment, everything is going to change because of metaverse. So however, the research indicate that although most of us have heard about metaverse, but only 15% can explain if we ask what is metaverse, what are the technology which is used. AI is one of the big technology in that. But only learning AI, can you work or can you develop a solution on metaverse? Because that's where the future skill lies. No, you can't. So you have to go ahead, and because metaverse is still in the infancy stage, students, there you need to go ahead and leverage on Web3 technologies. What are those technologies? Blockchain, cryptocurrency, NFTs, and VRs and AR. So NFT is non-fungible tokens in game. So that you have to 3D. So that is basically used to deliver that 3D immersive experience which metaverse is doing. So this experience blur the line between physical and virtual world and enable the customer to interact with them. So the customer would like to experience sitting at their home a product. For example, if you want to if you want to buy a car, you have to go to a showroom, do a test driving, read about that and experience about it. So how do you create that experience? That experience will be created. You don't have to go anywhere. It will be created and already the company like BMW and Mercedes are doing that. Okay, they are basically blurring the line between physical and virtual world, and they're enabling the customer to interact with the product and shop in the virtual world. uh, Even the people are attending virtual concerts. Okay, one of the major concert, I'll show you the video of that. And even people are purchasing on the real estate in the metaverse. No, soon you will be offered a land also in June after Chandra, yeah, in the moon after Chandrayaan launch. People will say, okay, already people have started talking that let's buy the land in the moon. So attending conferences, trade shows, selling digital arts, or anything like that, which have real value in the physical world, will have the virtual value now. So some of the world biggest brands which are already established or which have already implemented metaverse in their work, environment, is these companies which I have listed on the slide: Coca-Cola, Nike, Procter and Gamble, Louis Vuitton, then Ferrari, McDonald's, and Stella, Microsoft, Meta, Accenture. So what they're doing is they want to connect with the customer in a very novel way. Financial institutions like JP Morgan Chase, okay, uh, have also started their claim in the metaverse. The country of Barbados was the first. When I was searching about metaverse, I found this interesting information that the country of Barbados was the first nation to set up an embassy in the metaverse to expand its diplomatic mission. So it's a virtual world where they have set up their embassy. So metaverse is creating that immersive extension of remote learning in colleges. In university around the country are launching meta universities now. So soon you will be a part of it if you want to do your study. You don't have to go to Harvard, MIT. You can just do it in Meta University, where you can feel like you are in US or you are in UK and studying in the university in the same environment and meeting the same set of students who are there physically. So workplace experience are also moving into metaverse. Recently, Accenture have actually done a kind of a job fair, and they came up with this particularly. They hired around 1,50,000 people, the developer only, in the first day of work in metaverse. And this was so they call it as career words. They named it. It happened recently, a few months back. So the companies also businesses they are developing products, customer experience. So workplace is also using now. They're also trying to give a immersive experience to people. Like for example, you don't have to go to HR and understand, or you don't have to attend a session to understand the work policy. So everything is visualized. You don't have to listen to somebody like how you're listening to me now and feeling bored. But if you experience that, and if I could create a world of metaverse and give you that experience, almost all of you will be interested. The learning will be really very, very effective and engaging. So that is what is happening now. Similarly, in the workplace also, the employees are most of the work where the employees are need to go spend some time and they don't gain anything out of it. The productivity is zero, are now transformed into metaverse world. So the few of the HR process I'm going to talk to you about how I did research basically in HR, and I found that few of the process are most of the company have transformed. I'll give example of those company. So like talent acquisition, and because of the pandemic, as I said, that which has accelerated the future of the work. There are a lot of people who have resigned. There are a lot of shortage of talent, and also the companies find it very difficult to come up with a simple process of acquiring a top talent I'm talking about. So how do they create a good process for selecting screening candidates, and how do they give them that opportunity to experience something before taking a decision to join? So the companies are, because what happens at some time, and this is the truth, that when you join a company, you join the company because of the name of the company, or maybe there might be some people who are talking good about the company. But unless you experience the work environment, you don't know whether the company environment is suitable for your personality or not. Because everybody's personality is different, and everybody can't fit into one particular. And you may feel that this not that I like my job, but I don't like the environment. I don't like my colleagues. I don't like the atmosphere here. I may not like the kind of toxicity which is happening here. So there are so many things in the workplace which will make the people think and leave their job. Then you say that, okay, instead of taking a stress, let me sit at home and find a new job. So this is creating a huge loss for the company for a long time. They hire people, train them, and ultimately when the people start working and when the hit reality hits, they are all, they become negative. Most of them, 80, 70, 80% people leave because of that. And the company have to huge lost because they have invested in your training, they have invested in recruitment, but there's no return on investment. Before they could get the return on investment from you, you leave. So what companies are thinking now, that why not give them an experience of the work culture through metaverse? And metaverse can facilitate robust and immersive candidate experience, which is creative, compelling, and that differentiate your employer brand. So there was certain research which has suggested that millennials and the millennials and Gen Z, candidates expect a metaverse experience during the recruitment process. So therefore, implementing a metaverse experience, for the candidate during the time of recruitment will strengthen your human resource bank. So implementing a metaverse, you see, there were a long time back, Infosys has a strategy. They used to, if they require 50 people, they will hire 70 people, because they know that eventually there will be 50% of these people will leave. So they used to create employee bank. Now, in this process, what used to happen? They used to lose a lot of revenue. They have to invest a lot of money because most of them are not required. They required only 20 maybe, and they hire 50. So those 30 people will be trained. There's a expenditure on them on recruitment, training, and all those kinds of on the salaries, giving them facilities, benefits, and ultimately they will get, some people will resign and some will remain. So they stopped that process now and they said, no, let us now make people understand and experience the culture and take a wise decision, informed decisions. So brand like Samsung, Hyundai, Siemens, PwC, all these companies are using an Accenture also. Like just now, I gave example about the carrier equipment where they hired people all over the world. They have embedded a metaverse strategy into the talent acquisition process. And also Microsoft platform, you have a platform like Microsoft Mesh, Meta Horizon Workroom. They are leading the way in facilitating the transition of HR practice into metaverse. So the companies are integrating the metaverse into talent acquisition process. And the virtual recruitment fair, interviews, assessment, virtual onboarding, virtual experience and tour of the company, the culture of the company is making the HR work more effective. So I will also talk about something which is becoming a huge trend now. Is called the virtual recruitment fair. So one of the challenge which many organization faces, accessing and attracting the right talent. So recruitment fair, normally they go to the college, campus interview. So what, there a lot of energy, a lot of money wasted in terms of hiring a job consultant who will be in touch with the job placement team of the university, and in terms they will have a placement, or most of the time they may hire them as an interns, and they through the internship they find out whether they are good for their company, and then they offer the job. So all these processes take a lot of time, a lot of efforts, a lot of money. So recruitment fairs is something which is very, very common, which allow you to access a large pool of candidate because you want variety of, and you need to choose good one from there, the best one. So the virtual recruitment fair can provide access to the larger pool of candidate that are not bounded by geographical and boundaries. Because what happens when you keep a recruitment or placement physically into some place, people have to travel on their own with their own expenses. You will not get good people because not necessary that in that particular area where you're keeping the recruitment or the selection, not necessary that people in that area, all people in that area are good. Just a minute. Okay. So just a minute. Okay, fine. So conducting a virtual recruitment fair in the metaverse is actually being very beneficial for recruitment. So they are delivering a high level value of applicants. They are getting there's no geographical bonding. They don't have to spend. Sometimes the company have to pay to the candidate to come to a particular place, and then those candidates are not suitable. So virtual recruitment fair in the world of metaverse is enabling the applicant to attend as avatars. In metaverse, you can create your avatar, and your avatar can behave the way you want them to behave. You can dress them the way you want them to dress, and you can. So, what happens when you go for a recruitment? Physical face-to-face recruitment, sometimes people can't perform because of a lot of anxiety issue, nervousness, and the situation also. So, you in one interview can't judge the talent of a person. So, most of the time, the talent of the person, because there are a lot of people who are not very expressive in their talent. So how do you find So when a virtual avatar is one of the best way where there is the avatar doesn't have to be nervous, doesn't have to be anxious, because the avatar of the recruiter is also coming. So you're not seeing the recruiter face to face. So your avatar is attending that, and whatever you are saying, your avatar is answering, and whatever the recruiter is asking, you can understand that and make your avatar answer that. So applicant is attending their avatar, they're sending their avatar as an avatar in the immersive 3D space where they can engage with a potential employer, they connect directly with the recruiter and hiring manager in a very meaningful and effective way. And they can provide information, even the recruiter can acquire the information about an organization. You can ask about their organization without any fear before making a decisions. So let's take some example. Recently, Samsung held a job fair in Metaverse, and they have a platform called Gather Town. You can make a note, you can see that it's called Gather, Gather, Gather Town. An applicant entered the metaverse as avatar and were able to meet with human resource and hiring manager. So this gave candidates an opportunity not only engage on a new level and learn about job opportunity, and but also they have enabled them to learn more about the organization culture and value. Similarly, LG also held a job fair in replica of their building in the metaverse. So they have their head office, they created a meta replica of that in the metaverse. And according to the LG, approximately 400 job seekers or applicant appeared as avatar, and they engaged in a very effective conversation with the human resource manager. And it was both an immersive and interactive experience for both participants as they asked questions and sent direct message to human resource leader without a fear that, in face to face, you have a fear. You can't ask because you don't get that confidence to ask that on the face, on somebody's face, because you look at the face and you assume certain things about that person. But in avatar, you can't do, you will not be affected by those psychological conditions. So at certain point during the event, the HR leader even turned on their cameras to engage with the sometime if they feel that the applicant is really very good and interacting and they are very confident, then instead of sending avatar, they will directly appear in a blended virtual and real world experience. PwC, they did recently a campus interview in Bangalore itself in many of the engineering colleges, and their recruitment team worked with the company and with the colleges. They created something called the PwC virtual park. You can go and see that. And here, the students from colleges and universities across the globe came together as avatar to learn about the company's value, culture. You know that even your college may have something called pre-placement training or pre-placement, thing. So before you get placed or you go for an interview, at least you decide whether you want to give this interview or not, whether you want to get selected for this or not. So your time, your effort, and even the recruiter time and effort is so somebody else who's interested will get a chance. So the company basically does a pre-placement, PwC does a pre-placement, what you call interview in IIM Bangalore also they have done, where they show their values, their culture, their line of business, the career opportunity and the growth in the company. And also they give a chance in this pre-placement training, for the students to interact with each other and to have one-to-one chat with the PwC staff and attend a host of presentation and question answering session. So in this PwC, park of the virtual park has become very, very popular. Most of the students are going on this. I have some of my students, university students from engineering campus, has gone and attended this, and they said, "Ma'am, it is really good because we can talk to the person and we can directly ask the person that how's the growth, how's the salary, and they can ask about the work culture, the leave, and everything." In Accenture also, as I said, the career words they did, which was in the metaverse, the candidate, what happened in that was the candidate will get into a chat with recruiter live, interact with the leader from global tech giant, okay, and there were leaders also, certain companies like Microsoft, Google, AWS, and SAP. They also conducted a live interview with the applicants, and it basically the purpose is to recruit have a recruitment technology which can help the recruiter to get people, right kind of people, who can express their talent without any fear, without any psychological situation. So this is what the Accenture said. And how different is this virtual career fair? So one of the researcher, Ramakrishnan, he said that careerverse, which is called metaverse, would be more personalized now and will be more persistent and popular. And we've asked, he is one of the professor in my professor network. I asked in his paper and I asked him on WhatsApp that what he mean by that. And he said, personalization means that users are able to log in their own detail and see things like interview schedule, chat functions. They have a freedom to dress themselves like the way they want. If they want to make themselves look like Hrithik Roshan, they can do that, or Rajnikant, or whatever it is. They're free to do that. So their creativity is also one of the matter. And when a user interact with a link and video, you would say that it will be able to find, they can also find a future references. And so the real career fair, you can hold on to your decision till you experience things. Okay. And that what the company is able to give you before you join and take a decision to join a company. Okay. So Accenture Career has run for 1 month. It was started from Malaysia. So people in April 2022, they started this. They wanted to hire 2,000 tech talent developers. And so they filled around 500,000 jobs in the digital economy all over the world. Okay. So that has become a very successful career job fair for them. So let's see some video on this.
In July 2021, Mark Zuckerberg staked Facebook's future on the metaverse. To prove he was serious, he renamed the company Meta and promised to spend billions of dollars to rebuild a metaverse platform. He isn't alone. Other companies are also working on their plans for the metaverse, the expected next iteration of the internet. The metaverse is difficult to define. It's usually described as online spaces where people socialize, work, and play as avatars, digital representations of their identities. Unlike a Zoom chat, the spaces don't disappear when you're done. They're there for someone else to use. Though it's often name-checked in the tech world, the metaverse is still a fuzzy idea for people outside the industry.
I mean, the metaverse is clearly a term of great currency in this moment in time. And I think for right now, 2022, the metaverse is a story we are telling about what the future of technical infrastructures might look like when you combine virtual reality, augmented reality, high-speed internet connections, and some kind of notion of a virtual space you might occupy with other people. So an easy answer to the metaverse is, well, it's the next version of the future of computing. The more complicated answer is, of course, it's a story about how we imagine the world.
Meta and other companies tout the metaverse as an evolution of the internet, a virtual world that parallels our lives in the real world. But it's an idea that's been tossed around for decades and tried before.
One of the other ways to think about the metaverse is that it's always and already existed in different pockets of the world, right? So whether you were someone engaging in gaming experiences, whether those were multiplayer games or whether those were deeply immersive games, if you were engaging in other kinds of online communities, there's an argument to say that the metaverse is already here to support that.
Roblox and Minecraft have been building virtual worlds for years. Second Life, Fortnite, Minecraft, and other games all incorporate aspects of virtual, augmented, or mixed reality to create an immersive gaming experience for users. If you're unfamiliar with the term, virtual reality refers to entirely digital spaces that are accessed through hardware like the Oculus headset. These headsets use special lens technology, cameras, and motion tracking controllers to fully immerse you in their digital worlds, where objects can seem real even when they aren't. Augmented reality is a related but different technology. AR brings digital objects into the real world, often with no headset required, though there are some AR headsets on the market. Some experts see augmented reality as a gateway to broader acceptance of the metaverse.
The technology has continued to advance and continued to find touch points in all of our lives, whether it's through mobile phones connected to the internet or other forms of connectivity, smart TV, all those sort of pieces of the puzzle.
Advances in software have introduced users to more realistic experiences through higher levels of fidelity, the degree of real-world exactness that's digitally reproduced. However, critics say more work is needed in order for the technology to deliver the fidelity the metaverse needs.
It can be easy to get carried away in like this nirvana state of what's being sold to us, but we need to think about what's right in front of us right now. We're now starting to see some metaverses being made available on mobile platforms, as well as through even the web browser. So we're starting to see a shift towards accessibility. That also comes typically at the cost of fidelity.
Beyond the technical aspects of the metaverse, another area of concern is who builds and controls the metaverse. A corporate version of the metaverse, one that's built by existing tech companies, risks repeating problems that already plague social media, some people worry. Bias, bullying, misinformation, and harassment could even be magnified in the metaverse because it's an immersive environment.
It's one thing to send 180 characters to somebody over Twitter, and another thing entirely to bully somebody in a metaverse type space where your brain has tricked you into feeling like you're really there. That's, I think, the potential for abuse in the metaverse, that the argument that maybe we need to get ahead of this.
Other critics believe that user-generated content will be the building blocks of the metaverse, like current and previous iterations of virtual platforms, like the game Second Life. But even in Second Life, larger entities like corporations and businesses still had a hand in shaping the fate.
I'm not sure it's as straightforward as saying it's either large tech companies or it's user-generated. I think it's usually a little bit of drift between both of those things. And I think that underscores the role of governments in all of this and the role of sort of social institutions.
Whether the metaverse will come together as a single platform is an open question. Right now, industry standards don't exist for the metaverse. That means big companies are competing to lay the foundation others will have to follow, a pattern that was established with the development of the internet.
One of the really interesting facets of the metaverse and of calling this constellation of technologies and experiences as the metaverse is that it creates the opportunity to build a platform. And the thing about platforms is that if you build them right, which is usually open and with standards, you can move things between pieces of the platform. So, when we think about the internet, whilst we may experience it via a particular service provider or a particular device, the underlying architecture of it is such that it can be delivered in lots of different places.
Zuckerberg, arguably metaverse's biggest champion, says interoperability among applications is crucial to get people to use the metaverse. That means companies will need to collaborate so people using the metaverse can move freely between platforms and experiences. For instance, if you have an avatar in Meta's metaverse, ideally, you should be able to use the same avatar when moving to a Microsoft platform. That, however, is easier said than done.
If you're familiar with the Roblox style Lego like experience, compare that to something like Fortnite. Trying to take your character, just take it over to Fortnite and make it work there. It just wouldn't work. You actually need to have two completely different iterations or models of your avatar. That's where I think fundamentally there are just straight up challenges that exist, because no two metaverses really are delivering a common experience.
Qualcomm, NVIDIA, Valve, Epic, HTC, and Apple are among the companies working on metaverse or metaverse-like projects. How or when these projects develop is anyone's guess. Game and entertainment companies like Stageverse, which digitally reproduce concerts and festivals, have been operating in a metaverse-like environment for years. But with more companies adopting a hybrid work model, the metaverse could also come to the world of work. A 2020 report from consultancy PwC predicts that nearly 23.5 million jobs worldwide will use AR and VR by 2030. The technology will be used for tasks like employee training, meetings, and customer service, according to PwC. The metaverse could also offer new economic opportunities, such as game creation, virtual retail, or digital asset trading. The virtual world could be a source of real money.
I think there's a good argument that over the long run, you could potentially create a new class of economic participants who could share in the upside of this new platform shift, right? Through maybe token economics, through game mechanics and so forth that you're already starting to see. But I think the metaverse is potentially a really lucrative place for creators to kind of populate this new world and make a great living doing so.
How widespread the metaverse becomes is in part dependent on how many people get on the internet. A little less than 2/3 of the world's population had access to the internet in 2021, according to the ITU. Without basic accessibility to the internet, widespread adoption among a global community of users will be a challenge. Companies building the metaverse will need to first see the digital divide is bridged if they want their virtual world to attract people from around the globe.
When I think about the metaverse, my hope for it is that we can be really mindful about what's happened when we've built large technology apparatus and infrastructure in the past. And that as a result, we go into this a little less naive and a little more deliberate about the choices we make. That also means as citizens, we have an obligation to hold the organizations in our lives accountable to the values that we care about.
It's unclear whether the metaverse will live up to the promises or fail to live up to the hype. What is clear, you're sure to be hearing more about the metaverse for years to come.
Okay. So when you're talking about students about metaverse or all these Web3 technologies, so you also have to understand that few things before we go ahead, that how it has progressed and what is our history. The history is always very important, right? So human civilization actually have gone through drastic change through our industrial revolution. We are now not in industry 4.0, we are in industry 5.0. Not I'm saying India, but then most of this. So one was actually in the industry 1.0 was that converting the agriculture and handicraft-based economy into sector-based on automated manufacturing. That was a revolution, industrial revolution 1.0, which began with mechanization, and the steam and water power. Later, the second revolution implemented electricity, mass production, assembly line. Third industrial revolution was computers, automation, and electronics. So the first three revolutions transformed the way the society is working and living. This is very important to understand. And now companies are very productive and efficient due to new machineries, new power sources, and new way of arranging them. So we are now in the amidst, most of the country are in the midst of cyber revolution, which is known as Industry 4.0, okay, and the cyber physical human intelligence. So fourth revolution is about machine replacing humans and transforming manufacturing into IoT, or which we say smart factories. So that means that the Industry 4.0 focus is entirely students on AI, artificial intelligence, computer-based system, cyber physical, which we say, networking, cloud servers, machine learning, 3D printing, automation, VR, and computing advantages. So what is now Industry 5.0, which is the future? So Industry 4.0 has not fully incorporated yet in many places. So why do people are already talking about then why Industry 5.0? So Industry 4.0 was about connected world through automation, where we are using IoT mostly, the sensors and AI. And Industry 5.0 collaborates between human and machines. Okay. And the fifth revolution is all about connecting people with robots, making them work together. So the fourth revolution started around 2010 and changed the way the company were functioning thanks to advanced technology and automation. Many companies are able to replace human with robots. Amazon in their warehouse in the US have 10,000 plus Kiva robots working. Human beings are replaced in their fulfillment centers. Similarly, Volvo and many companies, manufacturing companies have robots, doing their manufacturing. We have robots doing the surgeries now, which we say Da Vinci surgeries. So many businesses have been influenced by Industry 4.0 and so far. Some still are adapting to the technology that Industry 4.0 has brought. Does it mean that Industry 4.0 will be over soon? The fourth revolution is not end yet. It will still impact many companies who have not fully adopted to Industry 4.0. But now everybody is trying to focus on Industry 5.2. Okay. And Industry 5.0, when we are talking about Industry 5.0, Industry 5.0 is about, in the Industry 5.0 is many, many things. It means a lot for manufacturing industry, like robot manufacturing, co-worker industry 5.0, robot companion. You might have seen some movie like Herds or something like that. Then the interaction between human and computerized machine will become a very big thing in Industry 5.0. Collaboration between the two industrial processes. Beside that, the next industrial revolution will bring cobots. So we will start, robots will be changed into cobots. Means robots aren't supposed to supersede human, but co-op with them. That means in work with a collaboration with, so you may see robot as your colleague. That is going to be what Industry 5.0 is going to bring. Okay. So when we talk about Industry 4.0, there are a lot of new technologies which are enabling these capabilities. Each alone is important, but together they do what essentially is a groundbreaking solution for any business problem. So it's the lens to understand the future, the possible impact of fourth industrial revolution to you and your organization. So let us explore this idea with some example. If you have ever used a mapping app on your smartphone, which I suspect many of you have already, so you already know how valuable it can be. There are many available in the market like Google Map, Apple Map, and all these, and they help you in finding optimal direction. They also, and you know that they use crowdsourcing to understand traffic condition. Have you ever thought that how they are getting this data to understand where is a traffic jam and which area has a blockage and all that red line and all those line comes? How do you think that comes? Most of them are for crowdsourcing to understand this traffic condition and provide a substantive information on wide variety of factors before you take a trip. So what does it take to have a successful mapping app to make this a service with real value for million of users? Suppose you tomorrow want to develop one mapping app. The basic must include a wireless infrastructure, a network of satellite, the internet, low cost storage and processing technology, which can fit into a mobile phone, a matured mobile phone operating system, software development kit for mobile application, and expert mobile phone developer. So it becomes very clear very quickly that without any of these items, it is not possible to have a successful mapping. Each of these areas represent an incredible human achievement. Take, for instance, our satellite-based navigation system. This is what we have achieved soon. Call it as a global positioning system or GPS. This is a network of at least 24 satellite, what we are using now in Google Map. And it enables the GPS to work in any weather condition, anywhere in the world, 24 hours a day, and without any cost to the user. So it is a product basically initially initiated or evolved in US Department of Defense. It was a defense project where they developed this kind of a navigation system or a map to guide the soldier when they are lost in the difficult terrain like mountain or in a forest. And it is now enabling, this particular application is now enabling extraordinary amount of innovation. And the second example, let us look at, these are the things which I said. The second example let's look at is on demand transportation. So we're talking about using a smartphone to schedule a car pickup like Uber or Uber. Okay. And what does it take for this solution to reach? Like Uber has done, its IT company. And how do you gain million of users quickly? And how do you accumulate this enormous market capitalization? And why didn't this technology exist? Have you thought why, if life would have been more simple if it was there in 2009? You can't imagine your life now with these kinds of apps, but it was not there in 2009. What happened to enable such radical ideas to emerge and evolve as one of the most needful services today? So mapping app, just like mapping app, we also required something in this taxi use called GPS, internet, the smartphone adoption. Okay. And sorry. And we also need the efficient, seamless online payment system to get the payment after the service is taken. In map, we doesn't require that. Advanced software technique, optimized connecting, the technique to connect the customer with the driver or the rider with the driver. So beyond technology for an on demand to work, we need also customer to provide with comfort, with some new norms, with societal acceptance to step into the stranger car, like a lot of cases we can hear day by day. How do we have emergency services? These services evolved during the time because of the experience of the users. And new features have evolved. Now you have emergency alert and you can alert of your position, your location, everything is alerted to the company and company immediately help you. They come to your rescue. So new disruptive business model are on rise when the conditions are right. As you can see here, the one is the what are listed are here the right convergence of new software and hardware, cultural acceptance of capital availability, or capital availability, knowledge that build the own knowledge, generous application of good luck and timing, very important. So it is the foundation that helps us to understand why adding a set of additional capability does not just incrementally change the game, but at the right dosage and convergence, flip the business model on its head. So we can now compound this with the core characteristic of fourth industrial revolution. Right. So what might be these catalyzing technologies, which we should be equipping us with, not only to work with that, but also to develop new kind of technology. We will begin with artificial intelligence, the computer system that are increasing capable of performing human tasks such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision making. We are also ought to look at how AI may lead to super intelligence computers that exceed the cognitive performance of humans. Then we will explore the Internet of Things, the next technology, connecting the world of sensors, the connecting of billions of devices through internet physically to each other and transform information. Next, we will look at the blockchain technology. These are the one which people should equip yourself with. The underlying database that will enable cryptocurrencies and now has an independent life as an enabler of some remarkable new innovation. And finally, we will explore the emergence of autonomous vehicles. Okay? The driverless car, that might mean a whole range of new kind of behavior, a new kind of societal infrastructure and framework. So technology, many more important technology to discover on your own also is important here, which is augmented, virtual, and mixed reality. So the new experience and the how do we learn this new experience and create a new technology out of it is something which you people need. Okay. Now AI, when we are talking about AI, we will take a look at the AI also in this. So the broad use of and the rapid evolution of AI maybe define the characteristic of fourth industrial revolution since 1950. So artificial intelligence is equally one of the most misunderstood and underestimated technology of our time. Maybe, recently when I was seeing the news and everybody was so happy that India has achieved such a great success that Chandrayaan has launched. And some of the people like our neighboring country, Pakistan and all said that it is an AI image, which India is projecting. There is nothing like that has launched. There is no proof of that. So because the world has become such that it is very difficult to now rely and understand whether this is reality or is it an imagination which is created through some technology and which make us believe that, and like we were talking about deep fake videos and all. So the capability of machine to imitate intelligent behavior is the main goal of AI. And there are a lot of other people have now started saying that it should be more than that. Okay. So human activities can be simulated by machine, and that has become the core of AI research and development. Okay. Now, Uh, there is another side of AI which is getting developed about the future philosopher, ethicist, which is talking about ethical AI. That terms is also open. Then we had open AI. So from the, you know, the visualization, and everybody says, oh, AI is doing a great thing. It is making a great visual and audio interpretation. It is coming up with the stunning results of all big data. It is growing so quickly. It is replacing a lot of human, disability into ability. And the current AI in the context is the future possibility. It is going to do a lot of things which we can imagine. I was recently reading also that, soon the human age can be soon, you can basically go ahead and you can, conquer death, and technology will advance in such a way that you will not get old. Like for example, I was reading that research paper where they said there are a lot of bacteria and virus which are studied by the scientists now using AI to understand that how these bacteria never die. They can be flushed out from our body if they comes into our body, or they may in any other organism, but they don't die and they stay forever. So they are the oldest organism in this world. So how do we replicate that same genetic into human being with the help of AI, and they don't never get old. They never get, what you call, they never go to the stage of dying. So this is where the people are working toward. They are coming to make something impossible into impossible. So digital transformation is very, very big thing. Deep learning. Now, recently, you have seen a small boy from India has defeated, the chess champion. That's a human super intelligence example. And it is also proven that intelligence is not based purely on your knowledge or purely on your, age. Intelligence grow with the age. It can be. So there are a lot of things which are changing in the world. AI is making those changes. AI is largely the product of set of instructions. We know that is algorithm. So there is a huge way the AI is achieving through their subset called machine learning. A lot of unimaginable things are achieved through that. So if an AI program needs to identify, for example, a bicycle, suppose if I take some example, okay. For example, if this example we have taken before also, that suppose if we want the AI program to identify a bicycle in the picture, it would, of course, for a human eye, it is very simple. You see a cycle of any shape, any color, any kind of a design, you will say it is a bicycle. But if the AI software see a pattern from being fed with a lot of data, because you have to feed a lot of data to make a AI, to train the AI model and make the ADI do the prediction. But in future, will you do the same thing? As we said, more data, the better is the machine learning. With the category of machine learning called deep learning, we can get capabilities such as image, speech, face recognitions. The research and the application of AI is really wide and complex. And the major area, so this is how the AI will recognize, you all know about this. So the major area of development is problem solving, perception planning, okay, and also the management of robotics, robotic engineering. There's a lot of breakthrough that. So the four major players like IBM, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft, and large number of other startups are also making it much simpler for the organization to now embed AI into their product and services, every kind of product and services. So every product and services will have the ability to think, ability to do certain automated tasks. Like already you have now the cleaning bots, which can clean your house. You don't need a maid. So slowly AI is going to, the advancement of AI will happen in such a way that it is going to take over the world and take over the world of work. The robots, the machine automation. So human tasks will become faster, cheaper, will better at outcome with these kinds of AI. But at the same time, then what will human do? Similarly, the second technology is about Internet of Things. So Internet of Things is also enabling the, as we know that Internet of Things is about connecting the two physical device, and one device will have sensor, for example, temperature sensor, and it will take the temperature, for example, your digital watch or your smartwatch, what you're wearing. It will record your heartbeat, and also the after recording through the sensor, through the internet, it will transfer that data, the raw data, to the application which is sitting on some cloud platform, and that application work on those data, like for example your heartbeat, and may come out with some kind of a prediction on your phone in an app. So these IoT is becoming a big thing, students. So not only AI is essential, but you have to know how AI can be integrated and in IoT, in the world of Internet of Things. By the early 2000, the first reference to the Internet of Things has emerged. This is not so new technology. And today, if you see, we have smart homes. The Internet of Things goes going beyond a simple device to a very complex device. We have the autonomous car, which is totally dependent on the sensors. The autonomous car work with two technology, Internet of Things and the AI, who is a driver. And AI need a data, and the data comes from Internet of Things. So AI need to integrate. You need to find and develop a skill that how do you integrate AI with these technology. Okay, so a new type of thermostats in the home has come, which can basically, the Google has bought a company called Nest, and this company is in the thermostat. You just apply this thermostat, which connect to the internet, and this thermostat will use your home Wi-Fi, and once it is connected, it will connect all the devices in your multiple devices in your house, from your computer to your phone to your television. It should be smart, but it should have ability to integrate with that, and using AI with what data you get it from this thermostat, from this device, you can learn the various things. You can control the AC from sitting at your home. You can understand the all these devices, and you can operate that from your home. Suppose you're coming home and it's very hot, you want your room to be little comfortable, so you can on the AC. And these are all things are very, very common with the help of IoT. So thermostat was a breakthrough device when Nest launched. It was an IoT device, and it made the home, which we call smart home. Okay, and today we have more than 24.6 billion of IoT device which will get connected in 2030. And if you look at today, around 16 billion devices are connected. Whether you talk about industrial IoT, where Industry 4.0, where we are using machine learning, sensor data, we are embedding the sensor into machines to predict the maintenance, to understand, to do the quality control and supply chain management, to help in reducing the waste of wastage of raw material. So manufacturing company to the company, the car, the transportation company, to television, to traffic management, because there are so many cities. Singapore is a fully developed smart city. India is trying to become, Bangalore is also trying to achieve that. So there is a huge role of IoT devices which are going to play a major role. But IoT will only collect data, and it will send the data to the application on cloud platform. So IoT, cloud platform, and AI has to integrate and work together. And this is where the students, you need to have a knowledge of IoT, and you need to also have a knowledge of cloud computing. You can't say, I will just purely learn about this. So this is very, very important, students. Okay. As I said, in the industries, how do you predict the maintenance and all of it? Just the next very important technology in metaverse or in the world of work is blockchain. And blockchain, the emergence of the blockchain technology is going to be instrumental in changing many, many functions. Especially the bank will stop emerging. There will be no bank. The blockchain is also called distributed ledger technology, DLT. And it came to light as a technology, as a back-end technology of cryptocurrency, the Bitcoins, in 2009. Bitcoins requires a database of validated and secure transaction. And this transaction must be immutable, associated with the elements. So for example, if you currently own 5 Bitcoins, after a series of currency purchase and trade, each of these transactions must be tied to you in order to resolve to your account data. So database which store the transaction in the block of the data and sequence and in a chain to speak where each new block is dependent on the previous block. Okay. So that's the name, that's the reason why it is called blockchain. So when you're talking about blockchain, when you're talking about Bitcoins, maybe in countries like India, we're still not accepting Bitcoins for transactions. And the traditional way is very structured. We don't want to disturb that. We have our entire regulatory framework based on that. So we can't imagine a world without now a bank or with where the bank doesn't control your money or the economy of the country, whereas the blockchain is going to be something where it is going to solve the problem of the fraud. It is also going to make you the owner. Each one will be the owner of the thing because it's again, as I said, this is DLT technology, distributed ledger technology. Okay, business people, business students can understand that. So distributed technology doesn't require any kind of permission, but require consensus. That means the people in a community, all of them need to agree, then only a block is added. And once a block is added with a predetermined rule, what is agreed by all, then only your transaction is successful. And your transaction is not only with you, it will be with people, but there's no other people can harm you or do any cheating with you. So the inherent design of blockchain technology make fraud and transaction manipulation, they eliminate it. And it become very tough and impossible to do that. So distributed ledger technology can be used for massive variety of digital transactions. Database storage, supply chain management, financial services, government, retailing, and also it is used again with the Internet of Things in AI. All are these are integrated. Nothing can work in silence. Okay. So this is where it is very important, students, that you also understand the concept of blockchain and cryptocurrency. Then the other thing which I want to point out is autonomous vehicles. Right? How the autonomous vehicles, the car which drive on their own, so it's going to solve the problem of people who doesn't know driving, but still the car can drive. The accident will reduce. If you want to sleep, you can sleep and car will take you to your destination. So research is being conducted with the government and a lot of independent companies like Tesla, Google, all of them have come up with this model already. It has been launched. It has been successfully driven and tested for 5 to 7 years now. In the car like Google car, it can with the sensor. So we have the technology of sensor as well as the technology of AI integrated. Sensor collect the data, send it to the application. AI, like a driver, take a decision to stop, to slow down the car, to accelerate the car, and to the GPS also work here. The satellite, the GPS make the car reach destination on its own, follow a particular route, so it's like a kind of a completely autonomous car. Okay, so there's a huge change, big car companies and also the manufacturing transportation company like Google from 2010 had already made a fully autonomous vehicles. Not only car, but also truck. Mercedes has also come out. BMW has also come out. But because the government regulation does not help, does not allow, so specifically for two reasons. One is legal and one is social reasons. That a lot of people will lose their job with this particular automation. Though they have proven, the Tesla and Google have proven from last 10 years that the driverless car will eliminate the risk of accident and people dying in an accident. But still, the government can't bring that because of the regulation which is framed around human drivers. Okay, and in certain countries like in Pittsburgh, there are 100 Uber owns 100 cars which are driven, which are fully autonomous. Sorry, it is semi-autonomous or fully autonomous. But then the government say that you can drive the car, autonomous car on the road, but there should be somebody who should be sitting behind the wheel. So it should not be the fully autonomous. So this is the level we are basically under the level 3. where we have everything tested and everything the car is able to manage and monitor the environment and successfully run even the traffic signals in a bad weather condition. They are more accurate than the human, drivers. We have to achieve the level 4, which is the high automation, where the car can operate without the human input and oversight. And it can select the factors like road type, geographical area, and so level 5 and also the government rule and regulations integrated in this. So this is where the autonomous car is basically lacking. So I'll just go fast and go to this. So you can see that these are the companies who are already into it. So as I was telling, the future of work, when we say future of work, the revolution is big. It has both positive as well as negative aspect. Okay, perspective. There are many ways to address it. We look at it in the two unique perspective, that is the new style of work and impact of automation. So let's begin with the style of the work. Okay. So while we take it as granted today that 5 days, 40 hours of work week is new concept originating in United States in 1920, much of the second industrial revolution, the factory worker could regularly put in 16 hours of work initially. And today, in most of the developed nation, 8-hour workday is common, even in India. But it is changing. The third and the fourth industrial revolutions are providing a wide range of new working options. Okay? And that working option that is enabled by internet. So million of people to work for themselves, to work at home. The work is wide ranging, including activities like marketing, designing, software development, administrative tasks. These working hours and durations have become the responsibility of the individual. So 5 days, 40 hours of work week is suddenly much less relevant. With an increasing emphasis on information worker in the United States in 2005, 30% of the workforce had become contractor. No longer they are tied to specific, like I said, gig workers. They don't want to tie themselves for a particular worker and for a particular employer. In addition to the third wave, which has come in United States, uh, you know, the gig economy and shared economy. People job sharing became common. Husband wife sharing job. You know, husband can go some days and wife can go some days. So that's how the people were, choosing their life partner also. And the availability of smartphone, internet connectivity, big data, artificial intelligence. These organizations also provide platform for coordinating between the employee in different geographical areas. So companies are enabling individuals to earn money in their own discretion without bounding them. Okay. So by 2020, it's estimated that combined number of contractor and gig economy participants in the US will reach to 43%. So gig economy is becoming very high. And the company also don't want to hire a full-time worker. They want to hire, because of the technology, the companies want to just hire few people who can just come, and rest of the people will be on contract basis. Already it is started. Already in US, most of the jobs are on contract. And millions of people are providing the auxiliary services to transportation industry, to restaurant, to laundry services, to emergency services, to manufacturing, many, even the bank also. So this is what I said they are doing. You can see some example how the manufacturing industries are hiring less number of human labor and more of automation. And even the transportation industries where you don't require a driver to drive overnight and drive in the influence of, what you call alcohol to stay them awake, make them, stay awake in the night and drive. So they are using autonomous car, the driver can sleep. But there are certain industries which are at risk. Okay. And so the profession, the real profession called knocker upper, that means that the worker, it was a word which was used basically. 1 minute, just a minute. Okay, sorry for this. So round the clock worker, which was called knocker upper, is not required nowadays. So people can work from their home. They can have a choice of what work they want to do. So these are the things which are happening, students. So I'm sorry, I have to wind up because I have a meeting lined up now. I have to go for that meeting. So I'll just wind off in a few slides. So let us look into some of the things that how the company have, some of the examples of the companies who have not adopted or their workers were not skilled. They failed like Blockbuster to Netflix. These are the companies who have failed, BlackBerry, Yahoo, so many things. Now, and these are the things which you can see that how robots are actually shaping. And you could also specialize yourself into RPA, robotic process automation. So RPA is a software-based robotic that emulate the work that people do. So it's important that it is not the same as physically shiny metal robot. So while the concept of RPA underlying technology is the how do you use AI to digitize the transformation of business process. So RP can fit into digital transformation of your organization. Many companies are using it. The most of the known company which are using RPA like Google, Netflix, Amazon, okay, they've successfully captured the digital world. So RPA is basically a kind of a software tool which uses certain business rules which you have to define and sequence of action and automate the process, different application. Okay. So there are a lot of example of that. The company, as I said, Amazon, Netflix, but just a minute. Okay. So the ride sharing apps like, for example, Uber, you know, Lyft, they also taking advantage of these kinds of disruptions. And okay, so RPA is becoming a big thing, students. Uh, Focus on RPA technology. Focus on the other things. So I'm just going to cut it short. Okay, and so students, I'm going to stop here because I have to go for a meeting now. And before going, I want to wish you all the best. Do well in your life and focus on, as I said today, just try to focus on other technology. Don't focus only on one skill. Develop multiple skills, and only you will be in demand. And you will get the job what you want instead of doing a job which you don't want, but you end up doing that and feel frustrated. So please develop the skills. There are a lot of online courses available. Your college is doing a wonderful job by giving you these opportunities, extending these opportunities to interact with industry people, to learn certain skills beyond what is taught in the classroom. They are trying to bridge the gap between industry and the academia. So I would request you all to invest some time in your own learning, develop the skills. Time is very important for you. And there's a lot of competitions lying in the market. Interact with people, interact with your seniors, interact with your teachers, interact with the industry people, try to find out and ask questions. Because this entire session, I didn't see anybody even writing a single thing on the chat. And I understand the psychology. It's not easy to listen to somebody for 2 hours, and especially online. So all the best to you for your future. And in any case, if you want any help, you can get in touch with Phoenix, and they may share my email ID with you, and you can always get in touch with me. And maybe if I can be of any help to you all, I will be more. It will be my pleasure. So thank you. I'm going to leave now.
Thank you, ma'am.